80% of all sales happen on page 1. This means if you're able to create a beautiful listing, game the Amazon's algorithm, and capture customer attention, you have a very good chance on making sales. So, simple question, how do we do that? Therefore, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create an amazing Amazon FBA listing that has a very good chance on landing on the first page where all of the sales are being made. What's up, you guys? It's Ben and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything there is related to selling on Amazon. Therefore, if you're interested in that sort of stuff, consider subscribing. Now, before we get into the tutorial, let me give you the bottom line, the secret, the reason why some product listings will get on page 1 whilst others will end up on page 69. It's really simple. Amazon wants to focus on products that will sell best. The products that will stand out from the rest of the competition, sell at a competitive price, and provide much better value than everybody else will always end up on page 1. The reality is, the more sales that happen on Amazon, the more money they can collect from referral and fulfillment fees. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. Just a side note, please guys watch until the very end of the tutorial, because at the very end I'll actually show you my own product launch strategy. This basically means what exactly do I do and what steps do I take once my product effectively goes live. And if you're serious about selling on Amazon and you really want to make it a full-time business, then please don't forget to check the links down below for my own personal mentorship, where I myself will help you and guide you every step of the way. Otherwise guys, if you're running on a relatively lower budget but you still want to use some of the business tools that I use and recommend, then please don't forget to check the links down below for Awesome, by far the most reliable e-commerce accountants out there in the market, Helium 10, the best product research tool that I can find, and I've been using that for over 4 years and we'll be using it in today's video, or Tide, the perfect business bank account to start up your own Amazon FBA business. And with that being said guys, let's get straight to the video. For today's tutorial, let's use one of the most popular products on Amazon, and that is a simple yoga mat. Now before we get into the tutorial, there is one thing that I'll be leaving out, and that is images. Now for those of you who have been selling on Amazon for quite some time and are serious about selling on Amazon, you already know how important images are, and I will specifically leave that part of the tutorial on this video, and I'll create a completely separate video on to how exactly you need to create the best, most beautiful images that will capture other people's attention, that will make sure that will stand out from the rest of the competition. Because remember guys, all of the customers online base most of their decisions actually based on the images. They will buy on what the images show and what the images will tell them. Yes, the title is important. Yes, the key features are important, not just for the algorithm but also for the customer, but what's most important is the images. So let's get straight on to the tutorial. So let's say we want to create a brand new listing in regards to yoga mats. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first of all, is go onto Amazon and just go onto a yoga mat that most likely is selling extremely well. Now for this particular reason, I've chose Amazon's Choice yoga mats. Now for those of you that don't know, Amazon's Choice basically means that it is Amazon's Choice that highlights very highly rated and very well priced products that are available to ship immediately but also sell extremely well. There's never ever an occasion where an Amazon's Choice product is not going to be selling well. So therefore choosing this to basically base our listing on is actually a great idea in my opinion. So the very first thing we need to do is find out the ASIN number. Now for those of you that don't know, ASIN is basically like the unique identifier for that particular product. This is how Amazon will recognize that this particular yoga mat belongs to this person, this particular yoga mat belongs to another person, and this is the ASIN of that particular product. Okay, now you can find it if you're using Helium 10 around here. If you want to, you can also go down here and find the ASIN here as well, as you can see here in product description, product information, or you can also find it in the links in the actual link of the actual picture as well. But usually the quickest way to find it is around the technical details over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this particular ASIN into a tool on Helium 10 that is called Cerebro. Now, just very quickly, just to give you an idea of how to reach this tool, you have to first of all get a Helium 10 subscription, which I have a 50% discount link on. I'll leave a link that in the bio. But most importantly here, you have to click on Tools. And as you can see, there are so many tools that Helium 10 provides you when it comes to not just creating your own Amazon FBA listing, but also managing your business, doing various things in relation to your Amazon FBA business, which is why I recommend it so highly. But for this video in particular, we're going to use the keyword research Cerebro tool. This basically what it does, actually, you copy and paste this particular ASIN into the UK marketplace. So make sure to choose the right one. And then you click on Get Keywords. Now, what I love about this is actually the fact that it will show me where does that particular yoga mat rank for keywords and what keywords do they rank for. It will actually show me what customers type in to find that particular yoga mat. And that is so important, because in the very beginning you may think, okay, well, it's a yoga mat, so, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory what keywords people will use to find that particular product. But you would be surprised, because different people use different type of search terms, keywords, to find that particular product. Now, yoga mat is relatively straightforward, but there are so many other keywords and so many other products that can use multitude of keywords to find that particular product, which is why not just having a guessing game, but also actually using, you know, scientific, real tools to find out all of the keywords is so important, because the more keywords we can provide to Amazon, the more our listing is going to be indexed for various different search terms. And the more we can provide, the more information we can provide, the better the title, the better the key features are, the better it is, and the more likelihood we're going to be ending up on page number 1. So now that we have the ace and pasted over here, as we come down here, we will start seeing that this particular product actually shows up for 3,217 different keywords. Now, of course, we cannot actually, you know, copy and paste all of these keywords into our own listing. So what I'm going to do is I want to focus on the ones that have the highest search volume. Okay, so what we're going to focus on is this tool right here. Now, as I scroll down here, as you can see, this is starting a ranking by the organic rank. So it's number 1 effectively for training mats gym. But the problem with that particular keyword is the fact that only 110 people have searched that particular key phrase. Okay, so therefore it's not a highly searched key phrase. This is not something that I personally want to target. I'm personally looking for search terms that have a volume over 500 and ideally over 1,000. And I want to take note of each and every single one of those key phrases, search terms, whatever you want to call them, that I can use then for my own personal listing. So just as an example, I'm going to open up notes over here. Okay, and I'm just going to type in, let me just do that here. Okay, I'm going to go and say, okay, so key phrases. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to start and actually looking. So training mat is a decent one, but it's got 479. I'm pretty sure we can find a few better ones. Go down and there you go. We have yoga mats. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna do yoga mats. Next up, let's find a few. Let's find like 5-10 of them. Yoga mat, there you go. There's a big one that is actually searched 63,000 times. This is clearly one of the main ones that we definitely want to add into our listing. Okay, it's pretty much a very obvious one. Exercise mat for home. There is one that is pretty good, but I wouldn't have thought it, to be completely honest, for home. Not many people, in my opinion, would be searching for home, but clearly they are. Yoga mats for women as well. I thought yoga is only used for, well, for men and women, but hey, there are a lot of people that actually want to buy yoga mats that are just for women, which is quite interesting. And again, if your product is for women or men, I mean, I personally can't distinguish the difference between men's and women's yoga mats, but it's definitely still a keyword that I would like to be targeting. As we keep going down, exercise mat, there's an interesting one as well. I personally wouldn't have thought so. Okay, now as you can see, we go on to page 2 and you can actually go on to up to page 65. Now I'm not, for the sake of this tutorial not being, 3 hours long, I'm not going to go through all of the pages, but I just want to show you an idea exactly how to create the listing. So we'll just go through one more page and hopefully find a few more key phrases. Next up, Pilates mats. Would have never thought that, to be completely honest. And also there's another thing that is interesting for me personally, is the fact that if I'm not sure, for sometimes like maybe a Pilates mat is a little bit different to a yoga mat, what I can do is I can just click on this little icon here and it will straight away take me to amazon.co.uk with the search term Pilates mats, and I'll be able then to look, is my product that I'm about to sell on Amazon very similar to the Pilates mats that are currently on sale? Because you don't want to be putting keywords that don't actually describe your product. You will actually be penalized, because what will Amazon, they will initially index you for Pilates mats, people will not click onto your listing, and then it will actually show and reduce your conversion rate, and therefore it will reduce your chances on getting on first page. So what's important, guys, is to find the right keyword phrases, okay? Not just the ones that have the best search terms, but most importantly the ones that are most applicable to you, okay? So never ever forget that. Don't just start putting in various types of key phrases that people may not use to find your product. Exercise mat. This is an interesting one because it actually has a spelling mistake. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using that, but it's definitely worth noting. Okay, let's keep going. Let's have a look if we have a few more. Gym mats for home. Okay, for home. Okay, let's see if we can find a few more on the second page. And Pilates mat. So what's the difference between Pilates mat here and the other one that we find? Do we need to put that in again or not? So Pilates mat. Okay, so the other one was mats and this one is Pilates mat. Okay, so now that we have a few key phrases, the next thing we need to do is get basically the keywords. Okay, so now we know effectively, usually for a regular listing that I would actually do in person, I'll probably go through the first 5 pages to get this list much longer. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to leave it there. The next part we're going to do is keywords. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to put keywords. And now what I want to do is I just want to take away all of the duplicates here. Okay, so what I mean by that is yoga mats. Okay, then yoga is already been mentioned, so I'm not going to put that again, but mat isn't. Okay, exercise, mat has already been used. For home, okay, yoga has already been used. Mats for women, so women. Okay, as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm taking all of the duplicates out and I'm basically putting in my back-end keyword search. So this is basically the keywords that you put into Amazon actually to tell them, okay, these are the keywords that I want you to index my product for. Okay, so we'll do women, exercise already there, mat already there, Pilates, of course, mats already there, exercise, I'll put that in as well. Believe it or not, spelling mistakes still matter, so therefore I would put that in. Gym, of course, for home, and Pilates mat. Okay, so these are the keywords. Like I said, usually you want them to be a little bit longer. You want to fill this up a little bit more, but for only the right keywords, the ones that actually matter to your product. Don't start putting in various gym equipment and various things where people may potentially find your product, may search for it, but when they may be looking for something completely different. Okay, so now we have key phrases. These are the key phrases that people use to search for a product. Okay, we now have got the back-end keywords. This is basically what we're going to put into Amazon to tell them, hey, these are the keywords that I want you to think of us. Okay, when somebody types in these keywords, I want you to put our listing onto the first page ideally. The next thing we need to do is the title. Okay, now the title is very interesting because back in the day, back in 2018, 2017, usually you want to put in as many of these key phrases as possible. Because the more key phrases you put in the title, logically thinking, you're going to get onto the first page for far more key phrases, keywords, and so on. The problem in 2022 is the fact that now Amazon's algorithm is so clever that they can actually look at your picture, identify, the algorithm can look at your picture and say that, hey, this is a yoga mat. Okay, this is what people are searching for, and this is what it should be, is indexed for. Even if your title says yoga mat, but the pictures say, it's a chair, it will be indexed more for the chair as opposed to the yoga mat. Okay, so what's important here, guys, is to think about title not from an algorithm perspective, but more so from a sales perspective. Okay, how much can we put in the title not to put people off, not to keyword stuff that title with every single key phrase that we have here. We want to use the most highly searched key phrases and basically tell them exactly what the product is to make sure it's nice, it's simple, so people can very easily read it and do not get put off by like 5 lines of keyword stuff type of title. Okay, this is what used to work back in the day. It does not work anymore. So what I would do is I would put yoga mat. Okay, I would potentially put exercise or yoga mats for women as well. Okay, this is quite interesting. Then I would put something completely different. So maybe I would put down exercise mat. Okay, I would then put in the color of it. Okay, so let's say if people are looking for black yoga mat, so black color. Obviously you don't have to put in the word color because people know exactly what you're talking about. Then I would put in something like UK brand. Okay, So this is just basically to tell customers that they are buying from a UK company. This is not some Chinese seller who will spend ages bringing the product over from China to send it over to you. You're buying from a UK family-based business. This is why I'm talking about titles being so important. Even though it's not so much for the algorithm, you want to use it as much as you can to sell the actual product. And then what I would actually use, the dimensions. Okay, so let's say it's 40 centimeters by 40 by 2. You know, something like that. Okay, you can play around with it as well, but basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sell the product, keep a nice simple title, tell them that we're a UK company, and give them exactly what they're looking for. So the measurements of the yoga mat, which I believe would be quite important for anybody that wants to buy one. Okay, so now we have key phrases, now we have keywords, now we have title. The next thing we need to do is key features. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, key features are basically those sort of bullet points that you always see besides the images. Now these are really important, and I think people really underestimate their importance, because if you're not looking at the images, most people don't make a buying decision from the title. They will actually make their buying decision from the key features. They actually want to see exactly what that product is about, what material is it made of, what's so amazing about it, why should I buy from you as opposed to somebody else. So again, in the key features, guys, don't start thinking about keyword stuffing, even though it is important and we will try and use a lot of these keywords. Okay, but what's important here is to sell the actual product. People forget what they are trying to do here. The sellers that I sometimes work with and the students that I sometimes work with, they focus so much on the keyword stuffing and they completely forget the nature of the game, and that is to sell your product. Tell your customer why this product is so amazing and better than the rest of the, you know, abundance of competitors out there. Okay, so what I would do is I would say, okay, excellent material. Material. I don't know if that's how you spell them, excellent, but I just want to make sure. And then I would put our yoga mats come from, I don't know. You know what I can actually do? I can actually go back onto this listing and actually get some inspiration as to what exactly they're talking about. Okay, so they're talking about environmentally friendly. They're talking about non-slip, double-sided non-slip texture, which provides optimal grip. Okay, so non-slip is quite interesting. So maybe our yoga mats come with double-sided non-slip material. You know, so we've used now yoga mats here that can be used on various surfaces. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is once again sell the product. Why exactly should people buy from me as opposed to somebody else, whilst putting all of these key phrases into it? So for example, right now I've used our yoga mats. What I could actually even do, I could use our yoga mats for women, and then I can take this out, okay, because I already used it, and I can take this out. So now all I have to do is put these key phrases in the other 4 key features. So I would put in high cushioning, lightweight and easy to carry. Okay, let's say highly versatile. Okay, that would be our second key phrase. And I would say our what should I put it? I would put our gym mats for home can be used outdoors and indoors with no problems. And so on. And you can kind of see exactly where I'm coming with this. Is basically I'm trying to add all of these key phrases as possible, not to overstuff them over here, not to make them too long, because of all of a sudden now I have this like 200, 300 characters. People won't read the key phrases, key features, excuse me. But what's important here is to have them short, nice and sweet, and get people to exactly buy into what exactly we're selling. Exactly why should they buy from us as opposed to somebody else. Now, You can see here that I'm actually taking some inspiration from our competitor's listing, but this is not exactly copied word for word. I would never ever do that because I do believe I can actually do a much better job, but it's just to get an idea of what's important to these people. What should I be mentioning about this particular item? And I can actually even look at the reviews as well as to what people are complaining about, what they're unhappy about, to make sure that I add this into the key features as well. As you can see, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just trying to give you an idea exactly what I'm looking at, what am I doing. Usually when I'm creating a listing like this, key phrases, keywords, titles, key features, this usually takes me about an hour and a half, because it takes a while to get all of these key phrases together. Then it takes me a little bit of time to figure out exactly what the title should be, because every word, actually, believe it or not, matters in the title. And then the key features take me the longer because I want to provide as much information as possible so the customer can make an informed buying decision. Okay, and that's pretty much it for today's tutorial, guys. I really hope you found it useful. And now let's go on to my product launch strategy. So if you watched the video until now, thank you so much. And now what we're going to do is actually speak exactly what do I do when the product has arrived from China and it's actually now gone live on Amazon. The very first thing that I do when my product effectively goes online and is now available for purchase is I check up over everything. I check over the title, I check over the images, I check over the key features, the key phrases, the backend keywords. I want to make sure everything is in order. I even check the category that my product is under, because sometimes, just sometimes, Amazon may make a mistake and categorize you under a completely different category. And if it's not categorized correctly, say goodbye to any potential sales. I want to make sure that everything is in order before the very next step is taken. Take your time, have a look through every single keyword, because it's so important, guys. If something potentially is missing and you're potentially, because of that mistake, may miss out on 1 or 2 or 3% of potential sales, over the long term, this can compound to a massive effect and it could lead to thousands of pounds in losses. Therefore, doing that due diligence is extremely important. The next thing I do, once I checked on everything, I have to actually reduce my price to break even. Now you may be thinking, but I'm here to make money. What exactly are you talking about reducing my price? But listen out, guys. When you're just starting to sell your product, okay, and let's say you ordered your first 500-600 units, let's be realistic. You have literally no reviews, no customer feedback, nobody knows about you, nobody knows anything about your product. Therefore, you have to give your customers a reason to buy from you as opposed to somebody else. Why should somebody buy your yoga mat if at exactly the same price when they can buy somebody else's at exactly the same price that has also 10,000 reviews that happen to be 4 or 5 stars? Okay, you need to give customers a reason. Therefore, if my break-even price is $9.99 and everybody else is selling at $19.99, I will keep it at $9.99, because those people that are looking for a bargain, that are looking for a cheap potential product that doesn't have that many reviews, they'll be much more inclined to buy from you as opposed to somebody else, even if that particular listing doesn't have any reviews just yet. This is how you start getting those initial sales. Now, don't worry. Once you start making a few sales and start climbing up the ranks of those pages, that's when you slowly start increasing your price with £1 at a time. Don't just go straight away into your target price where you get 100% return on investment. Every single seller will tell you that the initial batch of inventory, at least a small portion of it, will have to be effectively sold at cost basis where you make literally no money whatsoever. Alright, so once the price is done, the next thing we need to do is first get a few reviews, get a few verified reviews from our friends and family. Now, this is kind of bending the rules with Amazon, because all of the reviews that people should be leaving on Amazon should not be influenced at all. However, when you're just starting out, having a 1 review or 2 reviews on your listing can make a big difference in your conversion rates. Your products can convert from 10% to 25% with just a couple of reviews. So make sure to get your friends and family who hopefully don't share the same household, maybe don't even have the same surname or anything, to buy your product, to search for your product and buy it, and then leave a 5-star glowing review, ideally with actual real life images. Okay, this is really important, guys, because customers then will have some sort of feedback to actually look over. Yes, it's your friends and family, but still some sort of realistic feedback to look over and actually get a real life image on what the product looks like. Okay, because right now what what they've been looking at are your beautifully customized images that want to show off the product, but people sometimes want to know the real world examples of what the product actually looks like, and therefore having a few images from your friends and family can also increase your conversion rates. Once that's done, the very next thing you need to do is set up an email follow-up automation. Just going on the back of the reviews, we need to make sure that we want to get as many reviews as possible from our customers. On average, usually for every 100 orders that you basically send out, usually without any work at all, you will get 1 to 2 reviews. However, if you set up an email follow-up automation correctly, this basically means that with every single order, your product, you will send an email effectively to the customer asking for a review. Your conversion rate from 1 to 2% can go up to 5 and 8%. And over thousands and thousands of orders, this reviews score can go massively in your favor. Therefore, creating an email follow-up automation is extremely important. And I believe I have done a video on how to do this in my previous videos effectively, but please check over with Helium 10. They have a very, very simple tutorial on how to do this, but make sure not to forget each and every single customer should be getting an email from you, or sometimes even 2 emails. First one, just to check if everything is okay, and second, to ask kindly and politely to leave some feedback. Okay, this is really, really important because it can really make or break your product. And the very last thing to do, guys, the very last thing, but probably the most important thing of all, is start a PPC campaign. Now, for those of you that don't know what it is, this is basically paying Amazon to push your product up onto the first page by actually paying them pay per click. Okay, so for every single click that your listing gets, you will actually pay Amazon anything from 10p all the way up to £1 to hopefully get that snowball effect that everybody talks about. The way you get onto the first page with organic ranking is by getting sales velocity. But the only way to start getting that sales velocity is by manually yanking your product onto the first page and showing it in front of the customers, paying Amazon to show that product in front of the customers, where they will actually have a much better chance of buying. Once those sales start to come in, you will slowly but surely see your organic ranking start to move up as well. And just on that note as well, you may want to use the Cerebro tool that we spoke about earlier today on your own listing as well. See how your listing is doing over time. Is it climbing up onto those first pages? Where exactly is it ranking for the keywords that you are targeting? Eventually, once your product is up onto the first page and you have, you got your PPC manual campaigns running for quite some time, you can either turn those PPC campaigns off or really minimize the amount of spend that you use to get a few still profitable sales, just to push up your profits that much more. So just to recap, guys, the very first thing, create a listing and make sure to double check absolutely everything. Second, break-even price. Okay, you have to give people a reason to buy from you as opposed to somebody else when you have very little feedback or reviews. Third, family and friends. This is where you have to call up your friends and family to get those first initial reviews that will make such a big difference to your listing. Fourth, email follow-up templates. This is where you will actually send your customers an email to beg or nicely, politely ask for a review. And last but not least, PPC campaigns. And with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you found it useful. If you did, then please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.